Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Great Ace Attorney. This is Vita Fuser. In our last episode, we resolved the great deduction that we made of our mysterious friend Eggert Benedict. Although the police came by at the last moment as well. And now it's time for us to figure out what our next move is. You have any idea how long it took me to write that Baskerville story, Hurley? Oh, it sounds so exciting. The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it. What's going on here? Why does it feel like an icy chill just swept through the room? Susie, what did you just say? You said the Hound of the Baskervilles. But how could you know the full title? Well, that's because Miss Susato is such a great fan of all the stories about Mr. Sholmes, of course. But Bruno, the Hound of the Baskervilles has never been published. What? When I showed Hurley the manuscript, he told me that I wasn't allowed to publish it yet. I don't understand. That's why he said he'd keep it safe. Until it was the right time for the story to be made public, you see. So that's why the manuscript is at Windibanks. And yet, how could Susie here know its title? Well, Hurley, what's going on? Ah. What is it, Mr. Sholmes? It would appear our guest has arrived. Miss Lestrade! This was a bad idea. I knew I wasn't welcome. I'm going. No, wait! Miss Lestrade! We've all been eagerly awaiting your arrival. Haven't we, Iris? Oh yes, just wait here, Jenny. We'll have everything ready in a jiffy. Come along, Susie. Right, of course. It's a pleasure to see you here, Miss Lestrade. Please, make yourself at home. Don't stand in the doorway, my dear girl. Come along in. What say you to some Mendelssohn? I won't take no for an answer. Meddlesome it is, then. Meow. That evening, Iris prepared us all a meal that was even more delicious than usual. Mr. Sholmes' violin performance was in no way meddlesome, and Gina, as we came to call her, taught us all how to steal things from one another without being noticed. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed themselves, well into the night. That was a very enjoyable evening, wasn't it? Oh yes, Iris's cooking was truly divine. And I feel as though I can still hear the enchanting strains of Mr. Sholmes' violin even now. Best of all, I bet I could steal the glasses from his lordship's face next time we're in court. Naruhodo-san, could I consult with you about something, I wondered? What's the matter, Susato-san? It's about the telegram I received. Ah. The one that arrived first thing this morning, I suppose. I've been summoned. What? Summoned? What do you mean? The telegram was from the Lord Chief Justice's office. Lord Strongheart has asked to see me. Lord Chief Justice? When? Tomorrow morning. Then we have to start preparing at once. Oh no! That won't be necessary now, Hodo-san. I've been summoned alone. Alone? What on earth for? I have no idea. I suppose you'll also find out tomorrow. What's all this about? Whatever it is making me feel very uneasy. Knocky knocky. Who could that be, I wonder? Good evening, friends. Hello again. And Gina too. Ginny's gonna stay with us tonight. She's gonna sleep in with me. Isn't that right, Ginny? Well, yeah. How lovely. Let me make a pot of tea. You know, I've learned so much today. Oh, what? In particular? All those things Ginny showed us. Wasn't it wonderful? You mean all the pickpocketing techniques? We had fun trying them out on each other, didn't we? I think I've awakened a natural talent. I could earn a living from it. You might be getting ahead of yourself a little there. So what brings you up to our humble quarters at this late hour? Well, you see, I came to return this. Wait, what? That's mine! However did you... I told you, didn't I? I have a natural talent for it. Yes, I forgot. Iris literally is a child genius. So anyway, here, you can have it back. Not that I really understand why you wear it, though. Thank you. Alright then, good night. Good night. So this is your office, is it? What do you think, Ginny? I think I wouldn't fancy my chances with a lawyer what lives in a place like this. Me too. Haha. It seems as though Iris here still has something she'd like to talk about. I suppose she probably wants to talk about the manuscript. I suppose she probably does. I still can't talk about the latter. Iris, I suppose you're hoping to talk about the manuscript, aren't you? Aren't you going to tell me? I'm so sorry. I need a little more time, please. Alright, I understand. I hope I haven't made you feel awkward. Oh no, not at all, Iris. Not at all. I know what all this is about, really, but... It's a story you made up, is it, Iris? That mental script or whatever you call it? It's not exactly a story that I made up. It's something I read in Daddy's diaries. Daddy's? That's right. I don't suppose I've mentioned it to you before, Ginny, but... My daddy was Hurley's assistant once. His partner. Hey! They solved all sorts of strange and mysterious cases together. Is that right, mister? Apparently so. I was as surprised as you are, though. And Daddy wrote all the details of every single case down, you see, in his diaries. So I study them and write my stories based on what actually happened. So, where's your old man now, then? He had to go away on an urgent business to a faraway land. And we've gone a very long time. So I've never really met him. Oh, right. Come to think of it, I don't know anything about Gina's parents either. Perhaps we should ask her. Hound of the Baskervilles. This Hound of the Baskervilles story. I take it that it's another tale inspired by your father's accounts? That's right. I thought it was fascinating. But it's different somehow. From the other cases, I mean. How? I don't really know. But it must be special in some way. Because after I'd written it, and I showed the manuscript to Hurley, he turned as white as a sheet. It was the first time I'd ever seen him like that. It pains me to have to say this after you've toiled over it for so long, Iris. But this story must not be published at this time, under any circumstances. Why not? It's one of my best works. I'm not at liberty to say. Not now. So please do not ask me. There's something in there. It's something like governmental, I want to say. Alright then. I won't. But I do solemnly swear that I will explain everything one day, Iris, when the time is right. And that's how the manuscript came to be with Mr. Winterbank, isn't it? Yes. Hurley said it had to be somewhere very safe. That really gets my goat, it does. He's treating you like a child. It's mean, that's what it is, keeping secrets like that. I'm sure Mr. Sholmes isn't trying to be mean. If he said he wasn't at liberty to talk about it, I'm sure there must have been a very good reason. I think so too. You lot are too trusting for your own good. Well, you can't pull the wool over my eyes. Sholmes is lying, Iris. I bet my life on it. What? Hurley's lying to me? I've realized I don't know anything about your parents, Gina. I ain't got any, have I? Never did have. Oh. Look, the East End's full of orphans like me. No one wants nothing to do with us from the moment we were born. Not even our mums. But we all stick together. The elder ones look after the little ones and make sure they get by. So that's why you're a pickpocket. Nah, diving's my life. I love it. I get a kick out of it every time I lift some pompous idiot's purse. And that's how we all afford to eat. Unlike Robin Hood, ain't I? That's how I see it. Oh, Gina. I do think about it sometimes. What it'd be like to have parents, I mean. I always thought it'd make everything right. But having listened to what Iris just said, it sounds like having a parents ain't always easy either. Oh. I mean, if you know you never had him, you don't feel like you always wanting to meet him. It's true. I do want to see Daddy. So much. Oh, Iris. Gina, what did you mean by you said you know that Sholmes is lying to Iris? Well, he reckons he popped off that manuscript or whatever, right? But come on, it's obviously a load of rubbish. Oh my, why would you think that, Gina? It's simple. If that store were really an old Windybank storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could know about it. Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he's sold it. Without telling you. But Hurley would never do something like that. I'm sure of it. Hey, grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Bare-faced lies are the lot of them. Just ain't realised it yet. I'm telling ya, that mantle script ain't at Windybanks. You'd soon see if you had a look. Even if you think you can trust him, I don't. That Sholmes is a liar like the rest of them. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. See? But I don't mean like that I think he sold it. I meant that sometimes I wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere. Somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Don't be too hard on yourself, Iris. my goodness! Look at the time! Come along, Ginny. We should go back downstairs. Yeah, alright. And please, don't mention any of this to Hurley, will you? Of course not. Good night then, Iris. Good night, Gina. You must let me make breakfast for you tomorrow morning, I insist. Oh yes, please, I can't wait, Susie. Good night then. Iris. It sure is easy to forget, isn't she? Sometimes she speaks just like an adult. But deep down, she's still just a child. Yeah. Well, I think it's time I turned in for the night, too. Naruto-san. Oh boy. Dr. John H. Wilson, Iris' father. But also, the name of the murdered visiting professor at Yume University. It can't be a mere coincidence. There's something deeper going on. Mr. Naruto. Mr. Naruto. That voice. That's Mr. Sholmes. What's going on? It's the middle of the night. It's Miss Lestrade. She's gone. Gina? She was supposed to be sleeping in Iris's room, but her bed is empty. Well, she's an independent young woman. She probably decided to go home, no? I think not. From speaking it to her before she retired, I received the distinct impression she was looking forward to breakfasting Miss Susato. I don't believe the girl has gone home, but I've been waiting for over an hour now. Oh, if you'll indulge me to look out the window, my dear fellow. What's this about? Wait a minute. Why is there a light on at this time of night? That's Mr. Windibank's pawnbrokery. Mr. Windibank's. Oh no. If that store really were an old Windibank storeroom, there'd be no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words you, could know about it. Sorry, Iris. They asked me he sold it. Without telling you. Could Gina have gone? Seems you have some knowledge of the situation, Mr. Naruto. No, not really. Well, anyway, we must investigate. At once! Miss Susato. Oh, I don't like the looks of this. The door to Windibank's. It's open. And the lamp is burning. Must be Gina, mustn't it? Let us hope it's nothing more sinister. What? Come, there's not a moment to lose. Clearly something is afoot inside. Oh, there's already blood here. There's no one here. Oh yes. There is! Ah! Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes! What the? Has Sholmes been shot? Leave me, Mr. Naruto. But after them! Go! Go! Right. Blast! I've lost him. Hello, hello. What have we here? The alarm was just raised from this pawnbroker, sir. Would you know something about that? Officer, come with me. It's my friend, Mr. Sholmes. He's been shot. Shot? With the policeman close behind me, I ran back to Windibank's.
Mr. Sholmes!
Mr. Naruto!
How bad is it? Never mind me, but there's much at stake. Behind that door. In the storeroom. Hurry!
Oh.
It's Gina!
Oh boy. Hey! I'll be alright, Mr. Naruhodo. After them, go! Behind that door, in the storeroom. Hurry! It's Gina. From that moment, Windibank's pawnbrokery became a crime scene. Everything that followed happened in a whirlwind of activity. The arrival of the police, the preliminary investigation of the scene, and the questioning. It was just before dawn, before I was allowed back to my lodgings at 221B. Iris. A telegram came, but all it said was, "Wait at home." Oh yes, we asked one of the policemen to have it sent. It was simply impossible to come back. When I woke up, I was all alone. Hurley and Ginny were gone. Everyone was gone. What happened, Bruno? Poor Iris, she's trembling. She's obviously trying very hard not to let herself get too worried. I'll explain everything that I know. Something awful has happened, hasn't it? Yes, I'm afraid so. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Iris, but Mr. Windibank is dead. He was shot. We discovered it in the early hours of the morning. Oh, yes, I had a feeling. You did? Well, I saw all of those police carriages pulling up outside his shop, so I knew something must have happened there. When we entered Windibank's in the small hours, we disturbed a gang of 2 thugs. They ran out onto the street and I chased after them, but they got away. So it was one of them who shot Mr. Windibank, I suppose. I don't know, but that's not what the police believe at the moment. Why not? They've arrested someone else as their prime suspect, you see. Gina. Ginny! But why? Well, the thing is... No, Ginny wouldn't do something like that. I know. None of us think she did it. Then why'd they arrested her? I'm sorry. There was nothing I could do. So where's Hurley then? Is he still there investigating the scene? He really also have some breakfast. It's not good for him to miss meals. I don't want you to worry, Iris, but I have some news about Mr. Sholmes. He was taken to hospital this morning. What? Well, when we entered at Windibank's, a gun was fired and he took a bullet. Hurley was shot. No! It's alright, his life isn't in danger. Really? Are you sure? Where is he? Which hospital? He's at St. Sinner's. They're tending to him there. I must see him. At once! I'm sorry, Iris, but you can't. Why not? That's not fair. I'm a family member. I should be allowed. No, I mean, nobody can see him at the moment. He's not allowed any visitors. They're preparing to operate, you see. To operate? poorly. It was the two thugs that were in Mr. Windibank's shop. They shot Mr. Sholmes when we disturbed them, you see. It was pitch black inside the shop at the time. My mind went totally blank, I'm afraid. I just froze. After them! Go! After that, I ran out into the street, but well, they were long gone. I shouldn't have hesitated. I'm so sorry, it's my fault. I let him get away. I think that's a very good thing. Sorry? Well, if you'd seen which way they went and chased after them, you might have been shot as well, Runa. On top of everything else, I couldn't bear that. Iris. Where's Susie, Runa? She's still at the police station. Why? I expect she's still being questioned. The police said they wouldn't be finished for a while. Why aren't you there then? Well, I didn't get a good look at the criminals anyway. So they weren't questioning me for long. And Miss Susato stayed behind at the scene to tend to Mr. Sholmes, so they didn't get started until later. I see. Besides, one of us had to come back to be with Iris. I'm glad Inspector Gregson agreed to me leaving early. You should have let me know, and I would have come to the station. I don't understand why they arrested Ginny. It's not fair. What about the two things that were at the scene? The two thugs that were at the scene. Why aren't they the prime suspects? After all, they shot Hurley dead, didn't they? No, I mean, Mr. Sholmes isn't dead, Iris. This is all so horrible. The thing is, Mr. Windibank was found on the floor in the storeroom where he keeps all his deposited articles. And the storeroom door was locked from the inside. I see. But he wasn't alone in there. Gina was found next to him on the floor as well. It's another locked door mystery. And according to the detectives who investigated afterwards, don't tell me, there was no one else in the room. Yes, exactly. How did you know? It's the only explanation. Indeed. What do you mean by that, Runa? Well, what can I say? I'm damned if I agree and I'm damned if I don't. I'm afraid I'll need to go again now, Iris. There's not much I can do at the moment. But I can at least try to find out how Mr. Sholmes and Gina are getting on. I want to go too. Take me with you, Bruno. I can't stand just sitting around here waiting. I'm not sure how I feel about taking a 10-year-old child to the scene of a murder. But I don't want to leave her all alone here either. Alright then. Perhaps you can help me? Oh yes, I'd love to. Gina's at the prison. Sholmes is probably in his hospital bed. And don't forget we have to visit the crime scene! We need to conduct a thorough investigation. I can see you're ready for action. She would appreciate going to the hospital sooner rather than later. Now we gotta go to win something or other first. This is where it happened, then, last night? That's right. Two thugs I told you about were obviously ransacking the place, looking for valuables. But, apart from the policeman in here, you wouldn't know anything had happened. There's no sign of a disturbance. No, you're right about that, actually. In fact, if anyone, it's the police who seem to be the ones doing the ransacking. I know what you mean. They're like a gang of organized criminals, all dressed in black. Oi, I heard that! Oh, Inspector, good morning. Phew, I suppose I ought to thank you for your vigilance last night. We got on the scene just before it was disturbed, at least. Shame you let the two rogues get away in mine. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I thought you'd assigned extra men to the beat around here, Gregsy. Now look what's happened. Hurley's been injured because there weren't enough police on duty. Oi! Your ladyship! Never told me you were coming. I expect you to take full responsibility for what happened to Hurley and see he has the very best medical care. Of course, your ladyship. The very best doctors in the capital are tending to him as we speak. And I don't think it's Bruno's fault that the rogues managed to get away, is it? Chasing criminals is the police's job. Absolutely, your ladyship. As you say, ma'am, as you say. The gent in black is totally blameless. Everyone's in agreement about that. Would you believe it? He's like a completely different person with Iris. Talk about a personality change. Oi, where my man is? Are you thirsty, your ladyship? Perhaps you'd like some juice. It's a nice, refreshing fruit juice. Oh, why? Are you thirsty, Gregson? I have some of my special herbal tea with me, if you'd like some. Ah, oh, lovely. So very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship. I don't even recognize him like this. So, how's the investigation going, Inspector? Nothing to it, really. Very simple case, this. Has some very definitive evidence. We're just about to charge that diver we arrested last night, in fact. Gina, you're going to charge her? That's right. Should be able to bring her before the judge at the Bailey tomorrow. Definitive evidence, you say? What is it? Come now, show me. Your ladyship, as much as I wish I could oblige you, I'm afraid... I see. You've already captured the pair of thugs who broke in here last night, have you? What the? And you're going to put them on the stand as witnesses, are you? How could you? How? How could you possibly know that? I had a feeling. That's all. Remind me never to try to keep a secret from Iris. So you've arrested the two men who shot Mr. Sholmes, have you? Well, yes. They were rounded up pretty quickly by the lads on the beat. And Miss Lestrade is being held at the prison? She should be. That's assuming she hasn't lifted the key from the jailer, of course. Can you tell us anything about Mr. Sholmes? What's his condition? Sorry, I'm not at liberty to divulge that information. Scotland Yard matters are strictly confidential. Well, I know he's being operated on at St. Sinners. Why can't I see him? I'm family, you know. I'm terribly sorry, your ladyship. It's the hospital's policy. No visiting at all. Oh. The bullet must have hit an artery in his midriff. He's lost a fair bit of blood. Oh, no. He didn't seem too bad at the first hour or so. But a hemorrhage like that is enough to make even the one and only Sholmes pipe down. Mr. Sholmes is a human like the rest of us, you know. Well, anyway, he's having emergency surgery right now. They've got to stop that bleeding. But he will be alright, won't he? They'll be able to make him better. Of course, your ladyship. He'll be as raw as rain before you know it. Really? How do you know? How do I know? Well, because, of course... Because Mr. Sholmes is such a great detective, that's why. We better pray the doctors have a better grasp of what's needed to make someone well again. Oh dear. Please don't die, Hurley. I'll report to your ladyship the moment I hear he's out of the operating theatre. I couldn't help noticing, Inspector. What? Out with it, sunshine. Well, there seems to be a marked difference between the way you talk to me and Iris. What's so sunny? I'm a copper, we don't get into favorism. But he's right. You do treat us differently. It's because of those adventures of Sherlock Holmes stories. That's why. Oh. I crop up in him, don't I? Inspector Tobias Gregson. Oh, well, yes, because you're acquaintance of Hurley's. What did you write about the inspector, Iris? I don't remember really. He was one of Sherlock's lines. Gregson is the smartest of Scotland Yarders, is how he put it. Did I write that? And you know what the one line did for me, eh? The very next month, my pay doubled. Doubled, I tell you. Oh, that's amazing. All because everyone in the yard reads them. They all read the Sherlock Holmes stories. They even set up a fan club for me. Of course. That explains everything. It was around that time you became such a toady to me. Can you blame me? All it'd take is one bad word from you and Sherlock and Holmes would change his tune about me. Gregson, now the great detective will say. He's getting quite overrated these days. Think what would happen to my salary if that all came out in print, eh? The whole thing gives me the willies. I can't tell you how many nights of sleep I've lost to worrying about it. But that would never happen, Gregsy. Every month when a new Rants magazine comes out, my hands are trembling as I turn the pages. Oh, how awful for you. Here, have some of my tea to settle your nerves. Lovely. Not very much. I really hit the spot, your ladyship. Teetotal. Oh, yeah. There's something I was supposed to talk to you about, actually, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it? I got an important message for you. I clean forgot about it until now. Wonder what it could be. Are you gonna tell me what this important message is then, Inspector? Yeah, it's about the young lady who's normally by your side, your assistant. Is Susie, is she alright? She's at the station, isn't she? Being questioned, I believe. Nope, not anymore. She'd head off. Head off? Where? To Lord Strongheart's office, of course. He summoned her. Of course. I'd forgotten about that. One of the whipstocks took her there in a yard carriage after we'd finished questioning her. But she asked us to tell you she didn't have the fare for the return journey and go and meet her there. She's got a nerve, using Scotland Yard as a bloomin' messaging service. I see. Well, thank you for passing that on, Inspector. Why did Susie have to go to see the Lord Chief Justice? She didn't tell me. But I'd better head over to there to fetch her straight away. Alrighty, I will be right back just a little bit. Alright, we're back. Well, we've done all we can here. It's time for us to go to the Lord Justice's place. How many times I come here, I always get the same sense of oppressiveness somehow. Do you think this place is oppressive? I think it's normal. How so? I mean, look at that sweet suit of armor over there. You can't take that seriously, can you? Maybe it thinks it's the same about you. So everything is clear with regards to tomorrow's arrangements, I trust. Yes, thank you very much. There they are, Susato-san and Lord Strongheart. I wonder what they're talking about. They both look very serious. Very good. There's nothing further to discuss. You may return to your lodgings. No doubt you have much to do in preparation for your return to your homeland. Wait, what did he just say? Your return to your homeland. Susato-san! Mr. Naruto. What was all that about? Ah, Mr. Naruto. Thank you for coming to collect your colleague. What's all this about? Is Susato's return to her homeland? And tomorrow? Tomorrow? But what about Ginny's trial? You mean she's been formally charged now? Oh dear. Miss Susato, what's all this about? Oh, please don't concern yourself, Mr. Naruto. It's only me going back to Japan. If your life here can continue just as it has... That's not what I asked! What happened? Why are you leaving? It's my father. He's fallen ill. Oh no. Professor Mikotoba. If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Rinosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. We received an international telegram from the Empire of Japan informing us of the news. 10 days ago, Father collapsed with a fever. The cause is apparently unknown. And it seems he grows weaker by the day. I don't believe it. As you are aware, the voyage from here to your country's capital, Tokyo, takes some 50 days. I thought it would be prudent to hasten Miss Susato's departure as much as possible. Absolutely. I will leave London first thing tomorrow morning. I can't believe this is happening. So Jean has been charged. She'll have to appear in court? Yes, she was formally charged a few hours ago. And the date of the trial has already been set for tomorrow. No, not even 24 hours later. Gina. Ah, the Lestrade girl and the murder of the Baker Street pawnbroker. Yes, indeed. An all too conspicuous case. The pickpocket was clearly disturbed mid-robbery and shot the man in a panic. No, the yard is overstretched as it is, without wasting time on these open and shut cases. It's not wasting time. Ginny would never do something like that. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes, Lord Strongheart. In deference of your fine services to date, I shall overlook this young girl's incidents. But I have no recollection of admitting a child into my office. Leave! Now! Of course, Lord Strongheart. Criminals will tell the most palpable lies in order to evade justice. Yes. The police can ill afford the time it takes to unravel all their untruths. Meanwhile, more crimes are perpetrated. We have far more serious matters with which to contend. Serious matters? Didn't Gregson mention something like that yesterday? Yes, Inspector Gregson made a similar remark yesterday. It's no concern of yours, although I'm sure I need not remind you of that. "3 minutes precisely until my next meeting. You must excuse me." There's just one more thing, Lord Strongheart. Which is, it's Miss Lestrade's trial. I wonder if you might permit me to defend her. A timely suggestion. Sorry. The girl currently has no representation. But that's not fair. Yeah, she may be a pickpocket, but she deserves a fair trial. Do not misunderstand me, young lady. The government provides for those too poor to afford representation with a public defender. The accused need only sign the relevant paperwork, and a defense barrister will be assigned to the case. However, the young girl in question has refused that right. Why would she do that? A question you would do well to direct at Miss Lestrade. You'll find her at the local prison. Thank you. Now then, it's time I was leaving. Good day to you, and it's time we leave as well. See you next time.